happy to be here tonight. It's so wonderful to have you all here. Welcome. Just one more. I just want one more round of applause for just like being in Harlem among all of these beautiful women. Love this. Love Women Over Dinner Harlem. All right. Okay, welcome. I'm Aubrey. I'm going to be your host tonight. I'm very happy to have you all here. Okay, Maya Angelou said, "I have learned that people will never forget how you made them feel. When women are seen, fed, and listened to, something ancient in them rises." Women Over Dinner is a global movement of intimate dinners that has spread to over 30 countries, 120 cities, 3 women's prisons, and, including all of you ladies here tonight, over 6,000 women. We're collectively taking it over the 6,000 mark tonight. Yeah. So this is a night for remembering the depth of our power as women and feeling who we are and what we are capable of, especially in connection with other women. When I look around this room, I see something pretty extraordinary. There are women here who have experienced, I'm going to go into our theme for tonight a little bit, which has become our theme around these dinners quite a bit, around the justice system. This has become such a place for women from all different sides of the justice system to gather. And so I'm going to go into that a little bit. When I look around this room, there are women here who have experienced the justice system from many different angles. Women who have worn a badge, experienced incarceration, worked in reentry and advocacy, or loved someone through the system. And if you don't consider yourself justice impacted, this night is still for you, because while today's conversation is grounded in the justice system, what we're exploring is much bigger. So much meaningful change begins with relationships. And this is my favorite thing about Women Over Dinner, is that this is really how women change the world, is in connection and coming into a deeper relationship with each other, coming from all sides of an ecology and just like talking about what's happening and healing it from the inside out. Women Over Dinner creates a place for these relationships to form between women whose lives might not ordinarily bring them together, and for us to discover what becomes possible when we meet beyond the roles we usually encounter one another through. Increasingly, especially here in Harlem, we're seeing women from across the justice system come to the same table. We'll just consider this all one table. There's just one table. And today we get to hear from 3 women who each bring different perspectives from their work with the justice system. Anjali Iyer, Dr. Antoinette Jennings, and Kiki Dunstan will be your speakers tonight. You may or may not know who all of them are, who some of them are. They are amazing. I am so excited for this lineup for you guys tonight. So ultimately, we're interested in how women become, well, really, I mean, we are creators of the worlds that we actually want to live in. And so this event is a place for women to reconnect with their power, remember who they are, and share power in the way that we naturally do in order to bring that into all of the different things that we are doing to change the world together. And so today we get to explore that through the lens of justice and imagine what a system with human flourishing at its center would look like. And so I'm going to begin by introducing one of the leaders of the Women Over Dinner, Anjali Iyer, my dear friend.
Hi, ladies. Hi. I'm Anjali, one of the leaders of Women Over Dinner, and I'm really grateful to be here with you today. I think this is one of the largest rooms we've had, yeah? Women Over Dinner is a part of a larger women's movement created by Nicole Daedone. Nicole, along with Rachel Cherwitz, is currently incarcerated. When women you love suddenly find themselves inside the criminal justice system, that system stops being an abstraction. You begin seeing things you couldn't see from the outside. You meet people you never would have met. You start learning how all the different pieces connect. And very quickly, something that began as deeply personal becomes bigger than your own story. That's what happened to us. Over the last several years, we found ourselves in relationship with incarcerated and formerly incarcerated women, families, advocates, reentry leaders, attorneys, policymakers, correctional staff, and people who have spent decades of their lives working inside and around the justice system. And the closer we got, the more impossible it became to think about this as only being about Nicole and Rachel. There's a principle that has been central to our work for a long time. When something is deeply what you want for the women that you love, you connect that desire to the larger world. If you want freedom for the women you love, you begin asking, what could freedom look like for every woman? That question has changed Women Over Dinner. In December of 2024, we brought Women Over Dinner inside a correctional facility for the first time. 100 women gathered at Topeka Correctional Facility in New York. And at the same time, on the very same day, women around the world gathered at solidarity dinners to sit with them from wherever they were. Since then, this work has continued to bring us into relationship with women across the justice system. And something has become very clear to us. A new model can't be created only by people who have experienced incarceration. It can't be created only by advocates or policymakers, or by law enforcement or people working inside correctional facilities. That is one of the things that makes this room so meaningful to me today. There are women here who have been incarcerated. There are women here who have worn a badge. There are women who work in reentry and advocacy. There are women whose families and communities have been affected by incarceration. And there are women in this room who may be entering this conversation for the first time. Usually these women are spoken about in separate conversations. Today, we are all sitting at the same table because each woman can see something from where she stands that the rest of us cannot. So the question is not only, how do we reform the justice system? I'm interested in that and a bigger question. What would we create if human flourishing were at the center? What would justice look like? What would incarceration look like? What would reentry look like? And what would our communities look like? And what might become possible if the women who know all of those worlds began imagining the answers together? Every woman in this room carries a piece of something the rest of us cannot build without you. And I am very excited to see what happens when we put all these pieces together at one table. Thank you.
Thank you, Anjali. All right, next is Dr. Antoinette Jennings. So I get to read your little bio. Okay, so Dr. Antoinette is the founder of I Am Woman Movement, Inc., and a retired NYPD officer, author, community advocate, and passionate champion for women and families. She believes deeply in the power of sisterhood, connection, and women supporting women. Her work is rooted in bringing people together, creating safe spaces, and empowering women to recognize their strength, purpose, and value. Please welcome Dr. Antoinette Jennings.
I was okay until she said my name first. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, ladies. You guys look amazing. Amazing, amazing, and I am truly honored to be here tonight. I thank Women Over Dinner for asking me to speak. I love women, I love our unity, I love our creativity, and I love our unity. So this is something special for me, so I say thank you for this opportunity. And I have some notes, I want to stick to it, so I'll be reading. Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Antoinette Jennings, and tonight I stand before you not simply because of the title I carry, but because of the woman I have become through everything I have lived, witnessed, and survived and learned. For more than 22 years, I served in law enforcement as an NYPD officer. Today, my work extends into victim support, community engagement, reentry, advocacy, and building women through the I Am Woman movement and our community through Leaders of the Future's No Limits. I have stood on many sides of the system, and those experiences have taught me this. A title can tell you what a woman does, but it can never tell you who she is. Behind every label, officer, formerly incarcerated, victims, advocates, administrative, reentry worker, or community leader is a woman with a story. A woman who has loved, lost, made mistakes, carried unseen responsibilities, but kept going. A woman who deserved to be seen, heard, and respected, and given an opportunity to flourish. That is why connecting with Women Over Dinner and the reentry community is so personal to me. I have listened to women speak about incarceration, separation from their children, rejection, shames, survival, and struggles just to come home and rebuild. And I believe a mistake should not become a life sentence of judgment. I'm going to say that again. A mistake should not become a lifetime sentence of judgment. None of us are perfect. Our mistakes and consequences may look different, but no one should be defined forever by the worst chapter of their life. Your path may explain where you have been, but it does not get to debate or dictate where you are going. That is part of the mission of I Am Woman movement. We want our women to know you matter. Your life, your voice, your experience, your future has value. Whatever was broken can be rebuilt. Whatever knocked you down does not have to keep you there. I'm sorry, guys. I lost my glasses like a week ago, and these are readers, so I'm struggling here. This is why we should support Women Over Dinner. We should support it because women need spaces where they can be recognized as human beings, not reduced by their titles, mistake, profession, or circumstances. Women Over Dinner create an opportunity for women to connect beyond labels. It gives women the chance to share their experience, learn from one another, build trust, and discover common grounds. When women all come together in a safe and welcome environment, they can replace assumptions with understanding and isolation with connection. I also understand that women on the other side of the justice system. As I stated, I worked for NYPD for 22 years. Women in law enforcement carry the weight too. They are mothers, daughters, sisters, wives, friends, caregivers, and community members. They experience grief, fear, pressure, the unknown things that they're scared to even take home to their family. Everyone expects the woman in uniform to be strong to everyone else, but the question may be, who creates the space for her? I'm gonna put this down, it's like 5 pages long, and just continue to speak from the heart. We are super excited to participate, to collaborate with Women Over Dinner, because this is what happens when women come together. You hear laughter, you hear joy, you see this and you feel it. The energy is so powerful. And one of the things that we're working on is that we will be working with NYPD, and our special guest that was supposed to come had death in her family. Oh, she's online somewhere, okay. Oh, hi, Vicki! Yes, we love you. That is Chief Victoria Perry. And she's one of those people, like, when I say chief, she's like, ah. No, because she understands she's more than a title. And what she do isn't for the title, it's because she really loves. And so one of the things that we will be doing is just working with NYPD so that we can give women in law enforcement the same space that you have here. And I'm so excited to be a part of that. I can't wait for us to sit at the table, Vicki, and to just go over what that looks like. Also, I want to know, you are powerful. When someone asks you, who's the most powerful woman in the world, I want you to say, I am. So let's try this. Who is the most important woman in the world? I didn't hear you. Who is the most important woman in the world? because you are. And never forget that. Every light in here makes this universe brighter. God bless.
Thank you, Dr. Antoinette. That was so inspiring. Okay, our last speaker for the evening is Kiki Dunstan. Kiki Dunstan is a strategic visionary and a dedicated advocate for justice-impacted individuals, committed to transforming systems and creating opportunities for those affected by the criminal legal system. With a deep understanding of systemic challenges, Kiki has spearheaded numerous initiatives that provide support, resources, and pathways to reintegration for formerly incarcerated individuals. Please welcome Kiki Dunstan.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. First of all, just thank you for having me this evening, and I'm so happy to see you all here. You looked amazing when you walked in. Just want to let you know that, so give yourselves a round of applause. You know, I had to really pray on coming in today because this has been weighing really heavy on my heart, because I was like, wow, we're doing this collaboration with NYPD and this is really fully coming together. And I was like, now let me see how I feel about myself, because just to give you a little background of me, I am a former New York City police officer for 11 and a half years, but I also found myself in the carceral system as well. So I said to myself, what does my life look like after incarceration, during incarceration, when I was an officer and dealing with my own situation? And you really pointed out something that was so important, because, you know, we're human too. We go through things. Things happen. We're mothers. We're partners. We're dealing with the weight of the job. And you couldn't tell me in a million years that I would have found myself incarcerated, because I did not have the, I guess they say, the normal statistics or the pathways that lead you into prison. Because once you guys know that incarceration affects anyone from Park Avenue to Park Bench. That's right. Right? So when I found myself in a very toxic domestic relationship, I ended up in prison. And my thing was, when I entered those walls, I didn't have an opportunity to be like, poor me, right? Because I still had my family leaning on me. And when I entered those walls, I had the young women, because, you know, inside the maximum security prisons, there's women who are 16 years of age. So you got those young babies. So they was around the same age as my son when I came in. So I didn't really get a chance to be like, poor me. I had to just really put on my big girl panties or boxer briefs, depending on how I feel. And really like dive in. And what I found was there were some people that I remember their cases. I remember being an officer on the scene. I remember them remembering me. I remember correctional officers, you know, saying, oh, we're going to show her a lesson, because it's this little, I don't know if it's still happening now, but it's this thing about NYPD and corrections, unless you have, it's this kind of, I don't know, it's an unspoken beef, I don't know. So when that was happening, I was like, listen, I'm not here for any of that. I'm here to serve my time. But it was like, no, you're not exactly what they depicted you to be in the papers. We expected somebody else. I said, exactly who did you expect? You're soft-spoken, even though I'm 5'10" and chocolate, you're soft-spoken. They expected me to be a little bit more angrier, but I realized my higher power had something more for me, right? Because I'm not, you know, I don't have to go into each detail, but I know when I arrived off that bus and it came and I said, no one asked me, how are you feeling today? You know, before I know, I left the courtroom. I was being escorted in. I see my little son over in the corner. I'm waving, not really waving because I got cuffs on, so I guess it's this kind of, you know, and trying to make these gestures. No one asked me how I was doing. What I do know is that they was asking me, do you need medication, right, to get through what I was going through. And I said, something's not right. That doesn't feel right for me. And I know I was educated. I came in with my degrees already. Like I said, I had an 11-and-a-half-year career. So I knew how to advocate for myself. And I said, no, I don't want any of that. So they said, do you want to go on PC? I said, no, because I'm a New York City police officer. We know how to get it done. I think I'm going to be good. And it's very different than when men are incarcerated in your law enforcement. So as I was going through everything, women just kept coming up to me like, how did you end up here? As if we were so different. And I would tell my story, and then the officers would say, you know, they would confide in me and say, you know, I'm going through something at home. I was like, listen, you better get that in check because you don't want to end up like this because you never know what happens. So once again, in the system, there was nothing really for me to really do. And I remember begging this lady, and I'm going to have to shout her out, Arlene Baumgartner. She said, you could come work at the college. I don't normally hire people who are not part of the program, but you could come work here. Do you know how to do computers, or do you know how to do English or whatever? I said, sure, that's fine. And she gave me my job inside because I didn't know what I would have done. You know, always see myself doing something different because I was like, I don't want to mop the floors. Not trying to be picky, I'm going to be honest. I didn't want to mop the floors. I didn't want to be in the mess hall. I was like, that's not really my thing. Give me a computer, give me some books, let me do something else. And she took a chance on me. And what I wound up doing was talking to them young babies because they were getting football numbers. And I said, listen, you guys are kids, you're teens. I said, but I want to see you guys in this college. I want you guys going to school. They would technically be in high school, but it's like get your GEDs, come to college, and this will be a safe space for you guys. And they started to do it and see themselves in a different light. So now I realize I have a different calling. This is bigger than me. It's not about Kiki. It's not about Kiki. So everywhere I went, I said I would talk to the administration. I said, we need fresh fruit. How are we going? We need fresh fruit. Every woman in here can't have a hysterectomy because they're telling you they have they have fibroids or something happening. They're in childbearing age. They're vitamin D deficient. They have anemia. It was so many different things we had to talk about. And then the administration used to listen to me. And I said, we need to change some policies. So they'd be like, Kiki, come in here. We're going to get some changes. And I just kind of took that and ran with it. Then it was my time to come home. Right? After doing 6 years, I was facing up to 25, sentenced to 7, and wound up doing 6. That's only God. That's only God. Yeah, that's only God. Yeah. And then, so I'm thinking, now it's my time. I've seen people come. They already went home. I've seen people come back 4, 5, 6 times before I even get a chance to go out. And I said, let me see if these reentry organizations is doing what they said they would do. Because I'm typing up the letters for people to go home, and they're saying they're going to provide this. So I said, I'm going to go on a little field trip when I get out. So the first place, and I'm not going to take up too much of your time, but the first place I stopped at was actually Fortune Society, which was located in Queens. Fortune saved my life. I have to say this because I was just out of place. First of all, I didn't know how to use, first of all, technology is way behind. And listen, anytime we could get some up-to-date technology inside a correctional facility, because our people, we're moving fast out here. How many of you guys could keep up with the new technology that's happening now? We're doing AI now. Inside, they still don't have the full internet, even though they got tablets. So we got to help our people. But I didn't know how to work the new phones, so I had a choice. iPhone, Android. I was like, let's go Android fam. Sorry, iPhone people. Sorry. So with that, I didn't know how to do that. Then my sister was like, oh, we're gonna get a car, we're gonna get an Uber. I said, what's Uber? Right? I thought I was still gonna hail a cab. I'm telling you, this is how bad it was. And I'm an educated woman. I know how to navigate. Everything was so different. I really needed somebody there to show me, not just tell me. So when I went to Fortune, first of all, I'd never been on a job interview since I had my job with NYPD. That's it. That's all I had to do. I went to college. I got my job at NYPD. That was it. So who am I seeing in a job interview? What's my skills? What do I have to do? How can I translate what I've been doing for the last 6 years inside to translate to the outside world? Fortune took me every step of the way. I have to say that. I have to say that, right? And then after I got through all the shyness to some degree, I'm just like, listen, this is my story, this is what it is. But somebody said, I got a job for you. And I said, oh, really? Okay, they said, do you know how to get here? I said, yeah, I'll learn how to get there. And I came out, and I was making 6 figures when I came out. That's not the exception though. That's through the grace of God, right? And I said, okay, what am I gonna do with this? And even that organization who held me so close didn't really know what to do with me with a person coming out of prison to really translate those skills. They trusted what I bring in, but I didn't see what they was pouring into someone who was directly impacted. So I said, we need to talk about this. Let's start creating toolkits, you know? So every step of the way, it was through my experience on how we could do stuff better. But I do know everything is coming together. How we're here today, it's just full circle right here. I always said, I want to talk to officers and let them know about domestic violence to the highest power, because there were more kikis after me. There were so many more kikis after me. There were so many officers that lost their life because they couldn't deal with the consequences that came, like the kikis, right? It was so many. So I said, this right here was a dream. To get in a room to say, this is what we need to do, and check on those sisters. Like I never realized when I was putting cuffs on people, I'm gonna be honest, the impact of that one arrest had on an entire family. Because I'm the first person in my family to ever go to prison, the first person in my family to ever be incarcerated. I didn't have metrics to go on. But when I seen like my own experience saying, wow, I lost pay, I lost the connections with my son. This affected my mama, my daddy. I lost my grandmama inside. It's collateral consequences, you know. And sometimes, and you guys could attest to this. Sometimes when you're on the job, and you want to go back and see that kid again that you had to have removed because parents is acting cray cray, and somebody says, "Oh, you're doing too much." You're doing too much. No, that kid was on my mind. So I say all this to say that, the strength is in numbers, and just check on your people. We got to see the humanity of the people inside, because there's so many brilliant people inside. There's so many wrongfully incarcerated people inside who's fighting their cases. They don't have anybody, no lawyers they could call, or they may not even have the literacy to even understand their court document. You'd be like, when you look at it, you'd be like, why did you accept this? Why did you accept this plea? Why did you do that? So if you have your resources, and that could be the simplest thing, that could just be reaching out to your legislator. It's not much. Check on the people that are coming back to our communities. They're coming back. We're coming back. And we want to be better. We want to be whole. We want to be healed. We want to be able to contribute, because we're all the same. The reality is, if you talk to any CEO, they spend more time with us than they did with our families, with their own families, right? We know everything from A to Z. We know the birthdays, Christmas. You bond like that because you're humans, right? And this is really, truly an honor, and I'm so glad that you guys are all here. I could go on and on and on and on and on, but I will not. But thank you, and just enjoy this moment here, and just love up on your people, because time is so precious. I know we got to work, we got to get it done, but also to take time for yourselves. Take a moment to breathe, to relax, and know that someone else got your back too. You don't have to carry it on, because I stand on the shoulders of all the sisters that came before me. I don't do this alone. This is an entire movement of sheroes, and you are too, because you're in the room, okay? But thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Kiki. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Antoinette. Thank you, Anjali. Those were deeply inspiring. Thank you for sharing your stories with us. I'm trying to get myself together here. So one thing, later tonight, I do want to share with you guys a video of the dinner in Taconic Prison that Anjali mentioned, and that Kiki was part of also, and a few other of the women in the room got to volunteer for that as well. And we've been inside another prison in Massachusetts also and brought this experience to them. And so I do want to show you guys that a little bit later, so you can connect in more deeply to our prison work. Okay, but now we're going to head into the structure of the evening and the food. Okay, so I'm going to start you guys I'm going to walk you through the structure of the night. Okay, everybody ready? Okay. So Here at Women Over Dinner, our aim is to remember that women hold the jewel everyone is searching for. I'll quickly walk us through the structure of the evening and then we'll dive in. Women Over Dinner has 3 parts: a round of noticings, a series of questions, and a final round of reflections. So those 3 parts each table is going to go through. Throughout the dinner, we have 4 agreements, so no crosstalk. Tonight is unique in that it's not exactly a discussion as you go through your questions. After someone shares, you simply say thank you. No need to change someone's experience. We are simply listening to what they want to share. Bottom line it, to allow everyone's voice to be heard, keep shares concise. Vulnerability and specificity hold the most power. This is also true in life. And then enjoy it all. Remember, there are no wrong answers. We're simply here to share, connect, and have fun. And the last one is, this will sound wild, but if you actually speak softer than you think you should, because the room gets very, very, very loud, and you're like leaning over the table being like, what was the question again? But if your whole table brings the volume down a little bit, then it makes it so that everyone can actually hear more deep. It's a magical thing that happens, so try it. Okay, so we're gonna begin, starting with the woman leading your table. So raise your hand if you are the table lead, so that you know who your table lead is at your table. So starting with the woman leading your table, we'll go around the table in a circle, giving a noticing to the person to your left. So your table lead will demonstrate this first and answer any questions that you have about it. So this is a simple observation of the woman that you're sitting beside. It can be anything like, the first thing I noticed about you was how welcoming you felt. As women, we often feel invisible, and this is a way that we can see each other. The person being noticed just says thank you. Receiving attention can sometimes be uncomfortable, but don't worry, all you have to do is say thank you when they are done. I'm gonna do one as an example. To Maya, when you walked in tonight in your leopard dress, you had practically like an aura of just Italian sensuality surrounding you, and I felt filled up just looking at you. And then she just says thank you. All right, and begin.
For my online ladies who are joining, you can go ahead and put your noticings in the chat. So if you're joining us on Zoom, you can do a noticing of any woman that is online, say her name, and then just give her a noticing. And hopefully everybody gets one. If you're driving or if you're not able to participate in that way, no problem at all. But we would love to hear from you if you would like to do some practice noticings and join in that way. If you are joining us on live stream on social media, feel free to put a noticing into the comments. We would love to hear your noticings. Maybe you can notice a woman that's in the room on the video, or maybe you notice something that's in the space or in the room that you're sitting. And you can participate in that way by putting your noticing into the comment section. And we are monitoring the comments and our social medias, so we would love to engage with you, say hi, see what you have to share. So we're going to do the noticing step at the same time as the women in the room are doing their noticing step. And then we'll move on to the second step and the third step as they do, and we'll keep time with the room. Glad that you're here to join us and enjoy the noticing step.
All right, did everybody finish their noticings? Everybody have a chance to finish their noticings? Okay. All right. We are bringing in food. We are bringing in more food. So just so you guys know, there's more food. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna just this next part you get to just dive into for the next like 30 minutes. So I'm just gonna give you these last instructions, and then you can just really get lost in it with each other. Okay, so next your table lead will guide you through the questions of the evening. These questions are designed to be thought-provoking and intimate. You'll go around the table, one question per round, and answer as many questions as you can in 30 minutes. Remember to just say thank you after each share, and then you move your attention to the next person, and your table lead will start you guys off on the questions. All right? And begin.
For our ladies on Zoom, we're going to go into breakout rooms now, and you're going to be able to answer the questions that they're answering at the table with your table lead. So it'll be about 30 minutes, answer as many questions as you can, and then come on back here right afterwards. And when the ladies are done at their tables, you should be done, and we'll move right into the second half of the dinner. So enjoy. Make sure you join your breakout rooms. Have an incredible time. And for our live streamers, the questions are now posted and you can answer them for yourself. We'd love to hear your answers, and we'd love to hear from you and see what your life experience has been like and what it's like for you being a woman. So you can put your answers in the comment section, and I'll be there reading them, and I would just love to hear from you. So our first question is, what is a time you felt most free? What is the time you felt most free? And I will be back to answer some of the questions as well momentarily. Hi to our live streamers. My name is Kara, and I am the host for the online portion of dinner tonight. We are live streaming into the Harlem dinner, which is in East Harlem. And also, we have women from all over the world that are joining us. And we have women from Ireland, we have women from Hawaii, we have women from Copenhagen. I'm in LA. And so, from wherever you're live streaming from, welcome. It is so wonderful to have you. So, the women in the room in Harlem currently are answering our Women Over Dinner questions. And so, this is an important part of every dinner. And we spend about 30 minutes of each dinner answering the questions. And the questions that you have might have the same questions as the dinner that you were at last time, if you've been to a few dinners, or they might be different questions. So we tend to switch them up, and we're always designing new questions. But whether they're the same questions or different ones, they can be just as powerful. Sometimes answering the same question multiple times helps us to go deeper and to find different answers and more truer answers that maybe we had not thought of before. So the first question we're answering tonight is, when is a time you felt most free? And for me, one of the times I felt the most free in my life was I was about 36, and I had been married for 10 years and gotten divorced. And then I had been in a relationship for 7 years, and we had bought a house together, started a farm. It was a very committed relationship. And then we broke up. And so basically for my entire life, entire adult life, I'd been in relationship. And so for the first time in my life, I was single, my adult life. And it was both absolutely terrifying and also completely freeing when, for the first time, I felt like I was the center of my life instead of somebody else being the center of my life. And I got to design my days how I wanted to. And I got to really see what was important to me without the influence of another person to consider or make space for or prioritize. I was able to prioritize myself and get to know myself. And it was a really big shift in my life from the way I had been doing previous things previously and the way I'd been taught to do things as a woman by centering a man. And it up to that point was probably the most free that I had ever felt, and it really informed the choices that I made kind of for the rest of my life. So if you'd like to answer the question for yourself, go ahead and post it in the comments, and then shortly we'll move on to question number 2. Moving on to question number 2. What is something beautiful you have seen in a place where you wouldn't think there would be beauty? What is something beautiful you have seen in a place where you wouldn't think there would be beauty? Well, just recently I went to a dinner at a correctional facility in Massachusetts. And one thing that I saw that, I had never been into a correctional facility before. I was always very intimidated to go inside and, I've heard all kinds of terrible stories about them. But one thing I noticed was there was these women at sitting at a table during a women over dinner, because I went in to host a women over dinner. We had 100 women there, and there were these 2 women at a table together, and one of them said at the table, "We've been incarcerated together for about 7 years, and I've seen you, but we've never spoken." And that dinner was the first time that they'd ever spoken. And she said, "I'm really glad to get to know you." And it broke my heart in the best way, because I thought, wow, there's women being women in any location, even inside of a correctional facility where things are incredibly challenging, and the conditions are inhumane often. And not because of anyone's fault necessarily, but because of the system that's set up. So to see that beauty of the connection between 2 women, appreciating each other, connecting, sharing, even after they'd been living together for 7 years, and never having that connection before, but then appreciating each other and being kind to each other. It felt incredibly beautiful. And I was not expecting to be so deeply moved and to see such incredible beauty. I'd hoped, but I was still blown away by the beauty that I saw there. So if you'd like to answer the question, go ahead and put it in the comments. I would love to see your answers and what your experience has been being a woman. So moving on to question number 3, we have probably about another 15 minutes of question answering before we move on to the next part of dinner. And the women in the room are in Harlem are answering the questions at their tables. And they're eating their main course. And the thing that's on the menu for tonight is, I know they had cornbread with honey butter. There was a local chef who volunteered to make the dinner tonight. There's 100 women seated in the room. So the main course was shrimp rasta pasta with Brussels sprouts and sweet potatoes, pineapple jerk wings, lemon, garlic, butter, green beans. And the dessert tonight is cheesecake and brownie bites with ice cream. So that sounds absolutely incredible. I wish I was there, but I'm not. I'm in LA and I'm hosting the online portion of the dinner. So we've already done question 1 and question 2. So question 3 is, how have you put down a woman that you wish you hadn't? And I mean, gosh, so like every single woman I've ever put down, I wish that I hadn't, in retrospect. But the one that comes to mind, it's kind of an interesting one, is actually Monica Lewinsky. So, you know, I don't know, in high school, I think, when that whole thing went down. And I was, you know, raised the way that I was raised, which was very repressed erotically, I would say, with just a lot of secrecy around sexuality and sensuality and being a woman. Just a lot of repression and a lot of, you know, we don't talk about those things. And so when that whole thing hit the public eye, I really bought the common narrative of her being a terrible woman and leading a man astray, or, you know, that she was shameful for what had happened. And since then, I've learned a lot about my own sexuality and what it means to be a woman and a woman's power. And I really wish that I had known at the time to not believe the common narrative and to not, I don't even know what I actually said to people and, you know, what I actually said out loud. But in my mind, there was a lot of embarrassment for her and a lot of shame for her. And I'm sure I had conversations about it as well. But I really believed that story that was in the media. And now I follow her on social media, and I think she's incredible, powerful, and unstoppable and brave and courageous, willing to talk about sexuality and women's power and being a woman. And I think that was incredibly brave of her to come back out after being so canceled and so taken down. She was basically like, you can't cancel me. She came back and said, no, this is who I actually am, and stood up for herself and her choices. So I respect that deeply. And I wish that I hadn't put her down in my mind, or, you know, even in conversations that I had with people, because I have a very different view of her and the whole situation today. And so you can put your answers in the chat, and I would love to, in the comments, I would love to read them.
All right, ladies, this is your 5-minute warning. This is your 5-minute warning on your time for questions, okay?
So we've got about 5 minutes left to answer the questions. And so if you're live streaming into Women Over Dinner, question number 4 is, what makes you proud to be a woman? If you can answer in the comments. We would love to read them. I would love to read them. What makes me proud to be a woman is, I think the courage of women to get back up and keep going. The fact that there's been so much programming, so much training, so much social stigma against being a woman. And, to hide, to feel shame, to consider it to be bad or wrong to be a woman, or like less, not as good as being a man. But yet women still maintain our Vajra pride, like our confidence of being women, our confidence in our power, our confidence in our ability to reshape the world, that women are picking up the mantle now and putting our voices in the room where we didn't before, against all odds. The odds that are external and the odds internal. So that makes me really proud to be a woman that women all over the world are doing that, and that my friends do that, and that there's hope, I think, in relieving suffering of the world through women, what women are capable of, that we haven't lost that hope and that determination. And then, just because we are almost at time, I'll go on to question number 5. Where have you found power that surprised you? Well, I would say that I'm surprised by how my life has turned out, because I was raised in a born-again Christian family to become a good Christian wife, and to have my children and my husband be the center of my life and the reason for living. And that didn't sound great to me, I'm going to be honest. And it didn't really seem that women were very powerful. And it turns out what I've been surprised by is how incredibly powerful I am and we are. And that has surprised me, because my upbringing was so different. And what I found to be true is so different from my upbringing. So just the power of intuition that women have, that whenever I trust myself, that I'm like 99% right in any given situation. And that is not what I was raised to believe. But the more I trust myself, the more I see positive impact in the world, benefit to others, and that I don't have to sit back and say, why is everybody around me an idiot? Because I'm actually listening to my own internal voice. So that power of intuition has really surprised me in my lifetime. So feel free to answer the questions in the comment section. And we will be moving on to the third part of dinner here in just a few minutes.
All right, ladies, that's all the time we have for questions. How many did you guys make it through? How many did you, really? Wow. Raise your hand if your table made it through all the questions. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. You guys, we need a special prize for this table. All right. Okay, shh. We're going into our next part. You guys are going to love this. Okay. All right, so next up, we did noticings in the first round. Now on this one, we're going to do reflections, okay? So you're going to give a reflection to the person to your right. So we're going to go the other direction from the noticings that we started with. So you're going to give a reflection to the person to your right. A reflection is a specific moment from the dinner that you remember of that woman to your right. You describe the moment and then you say how you felt. One example is, there was a moment when your posture changed as you were talking about standing up for yourself, and I felt my own strength surface. Once you've received a reflection, you just say thank you. Make sense? Yes? Okay, begin. Oh, yeah. Wow, Kelly, thanks. Thanks, birthday girl. Okay, you will notice a red thread on the table in front of you, or your table lead will have it for you. Okay, this is the time of the red thread. So as you give your reflection to the woman to your right, you're going to tie the thread to her left wrist as a reminder of how we are all connected. So as you're sharing it. Okay, now begin.
For my online ladies, welcome back from your breakout rooms. I hope that you enjoyed that. So go ahead and you can put your reflections in the chat. So you can just pick a lady from your room, some moment that stands out from your experience in your breakout rooms, and say what the moment was and then how you felt, how it made you feel. And you could just post those in the chat. Can't wait to read them. And for those of you who are joining us on social media, you can post a reflection in the comment section, and we would love to read them. So they're getting cheesecake for dessert in the room in Harlem, homemade cheesecake, and vanilla ice cream and brownies. I saw both of those on the menu for tonight. So you can see how like warm and inviting and soft it looks and feels in the room there. And the volunteers are all delivering the food to the dessert to the tables. And it looks like most of them have finished doing the reflections at the table and tied the red string around the wrist of the woman to their, they go to the left for reflections. And so all the women who attended dinner in person get to have that red thread string on their wrist for as long as they like after dinner to remind them of their connection to each other. And so we will be transitioning over to the final part of the dinner where we'll get to watch the video about the Taconic State Correctional Facility dinner, and we'll get some reflections from ladies in the room, which is one of my favorite parts of the dinner, because the ladies in the room get to talk about their experience with the food and with each other and answering the questions. And you really can feel the room, and you really get to feel part of the whole experience, hearing all of their experiences. So I can't wait for that coming up. Probably they'll start in about a minute or two, is my guess.
All right. Can everyone hear me? Shh. All right. We're going to, it feels amazing in here. I love the reflections part and looking around, and everybody starts crying. It's really beautiful. So we're going to take some reflections from the room. So if you have a reflection from sometime tonight that you would like to share with the room, we would like to hear it. And so we have a couple people with microphones ready to come around, and it's a great way to digest your experience. Just raise your hand. I see 3 hands. Okay, we got a Rachel Kane coming. LaWanda.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. There's a quote by Supreme Court Justice Ruth, who, and I'm going to paraphrase it rather than quote it directly, but it says, speak your voice, even if it doesn't want to be heard, or even if it's hard to speak, but speak your voice. So at this table, we'll use that part, speak your voice. So at this table, we were surrounded by some live tables. This table over here was live. I mean, they were in full community. And then on our right, the women over here were in full community. And the whole time, we're like this. But I stand to commend this table for speaking their voice and for being intentional about trying to be in community with each other. Speak up a little louder, close in, lean back. What did you say? Paraphrase, put the closed captions on. That was us. And lastly, I stand because I heard that there's a birthday over there, but there's a birthday right here. Yeah. So we want to say happy birthday to you. And I know I'm taking a lot of time, but dun, 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 dun. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Hello to all the beautiful faces in this room. Hello to you all. A special thank you to Women Over Dinner. I don't know if anybody owns a pit bull in here. These women are that, okay? Have you met Sophie and Aubrey? They are so serious about healing and recovery in a communal setting, and I am very thankful for it. I just wanted to stand and share that there are many different generations in this room. Some of the generation in this room are closer to slavery than we are. And so you have the thought process of survival. You have the thought process of recovering from in this room, and to bring everyone here together, no matter how far or close you are to your story, to your struggle, to your pain, we get to sit and commune and just talk about love and life. I don't think that pain has to be our center point anymore, because in this room, joy has become that. And I'm grateful to sit amongst these two women here at my table, my two mothers, and to watch them just sit in whatever they are going through, and to stand in this space and just be of joy is the most amazing feeling. Even if it's for 2 hours, you had 2 hours to just be at peace and laughter before you have to go back into this world and this community, into this cycle of struggle, strife. You had a moment to just be, and I'm very thankful to sit amongst it, so thank you.
Hi, my name is Alicia Holmes, and I've been asked to share a little bit about who I am. The question started with, when in your life did you feel most free? And I started with, I'm free as a bird. By the time I was in my early 40s, I never had to exchange my time for income again because I was financially free. There is so much that I could say about that. I hail from Brooklyn, from very humble beginnings. One of the first in my family to attend college, and happened to be coached in college. I have worked for, when I did work, I worked only for nonprofits, making like a third of what my friends made, but I had the right information. I had a mentor and a coach who I feel like gave me the keys to the kingdom. And so when I stopped working, I spent 2 years. The question was, what would your life look like if you lived fully free? Doing nothing but traveling the world and learning from the greatest minds. Then I built a business, Journey to Wealth. And my business is about helping women, because I truly believe that we will not see the changes that we want to see in the world until women understand markets and economies and have a much larger role in shaping them. So what I do is I teach women to build wealth with a focus on women of color. I'm actually on sabbatical this year. I'm taking another year off, and I'm doing a big birthday, 60 years old. The whole year traveling and spending time with family and friends. And I do a lot of free things. I have something coming up in September. I'm trying to coordinate with a friend who's talking about the ancestor economy, AI, and where the world is moving. I'll be doing a free investing masterclass. I give back. I love pouring into women. I've created a lot of women millionaires who never thought they could be. And next year I'll be coming back strong.
Oh, Dr. Antoinette.
All right. One of the questions, it wasn't the reflection question that got me teared up. It was the first question that brought me into a lot of tears. I didn't know I was holding. And it was, when was the last time you felt free? And before they could get to me, I was a puddle. Because I couldn't think of the last time I felt free. because in service, we are always running, helping other people, that we don't take time for ourselves. So I had to be honest and say, I haven't been free in a long time. And then, towards the reflection part, or the bracelet part, someone said, oh, well, I would, that they would look at me and wouldn't know that I was going through that. And that's why we're here. We don't know what we're going through. But if we could sit at a table at Women Over Dinner and be vulnerable and speak your truth, you are healing someone else. So as much as I wanted to hide my tears, and I couldn't, it felt good to release so that some other woman know she's not by herself. And I know that I'm not by myself. So thank you. And I also want to say thank you to the women that showed up for me tonight. I didn't get to do that earlier, but thank every woman that came to support me here. And I just wanted you to get that experience that I felt when I came in. And I know you felt the good energy. I know you felt the good vibe, the laughter, the energy just is amazing. So go out, tell somebody about Women Over Dinner, tell about the movement. Because this is a movement, this is a change, and we're going to get better and better and better and better and better, right, Sophia? All right.
Yes, hi. I wanted to say, first of all, thank you, Sophia. And like you said, Dr. Jennings, just telling people about Women Over Dinner, we shared that experience with you last month, Shani and I. And it's great to see how when we share a message through people in community, how they bring it to a full circle. But I wanted to also wish Shani a happy birthday. Sophia, Kiki. This is personal for us because we fell in love with Women Over Dinner. Shani and I have been behind the scenes working with just the team. We are a family. I'm talking about internal family. Like, we think about fundraising and all the things that we are doing to support this cause. So, number one, Sophia, you're doing a fantastic job. Kiki, you already know, like, the family is here, but more importantly, Shani, happy birthday to you, turning 60. I know if Bob was here, Bob and Matt would say something. So, just know that your work in community, this is it. When we connected with Sophia, Bob, Women Over Dinner, Free Food, we got into the mission. And just know that each and every time when you go to work every day and you look at community, this is us. So happy birthday and many more.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. Beautiful. Oh, we have one last one? All right.
Hi, is
Dana.
my mic, is this thing on? Hello, everybody. You guys look so pretty. My name is thank you. My name is Dana Peterson, and today is my 9th Women Over Dinner. So I just wanted to stand up because tonight was so amazing, as is every Woman Over Dinner, but I feel like tonight had a very special frequency. There was a lot of transitional energy at my table. A lot of women, I say, quickly uncommit to initiate their transformation. A lot of them quit their jobs. Yeah. And I, too, quit my job 4 years ago as the VP of Learning and Development for an e-commerce automotive company in Houston, Texas. And I went on my Eat, Pray, Love journey to Hawaii. I didn't do it like her. She had way more money than me. I was out there, it was quick. I wasn't, she went to India and Bali, she did the things. But what I realized, being at my table, I got really inspired. Because right now, my focus is my business. I'm a personal and professional advisor. But I have this offer called the Q4 door. Because I believe that Q4, the last quarter of each year, is when you're supposed to focus and get clear on what your following year is actually going to look like. So I said, Dana, well, what better gift to give than to share that information with the ladies here tonight? If you are leaving a job, or wanting to leave a job, if you are starting a business or wanting to scale a business, if you are just wanting to see what a free life, right, like Alicia would feel like for you, that's a transitional period that I feel like we don't have enough clarity around sometimes, right? So at the end of this year, there are already people who are part of my cohort, but I wanted to share it with you all. We're gonna take the last 4 months of this year and really get into some things so that we can make sure that we have the money that we need. And I wanted to connect with you, Alicia, because I feel like we're tracking in the same place. And the people that I support, I want to touch M's. What's up? You feel me? Like, you coming? All right, period. Like, you coming? You coming, Kenthian? All right, period. All right, so like we say in New York, we out. You feel me? So the point of me sharing this is that it's a very specific and intentional practice that I focus on. I created, designed, and developed a framework called the Evolution 8, the 8 stages of your evolution: personal, professional, career, business, right? So we're gonna take the last 16 weeks, right? Well, October, November, December, and then the first January, right? To really like focus. So if you want to be a part of that, please come to me after. Or you can follow me on Instagram at simply_DP. But before you leave here, I want you to do 2 things. The first thing I want you to do is connect with the Women Over Dinner team and get involved. This place is rapidly expanding, and there are not even close to enough hands on deck. There's a book club coming. We're going to every prison you can think of across the country. Like, we need help, right? So please, if you can, you have the time to invest, get involved in this movement. And then number 2, I feel like I had a number 2, but it's leaving me. I'll figure it out later. But anyway, thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Beautiful reflections. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's see. I've got some things here, and then I've got some things in my mind to say as well. But okay, we'll start here. So we've brought this up a bunch of times tonight, and I'm going to show you guys a video in a second so that you can kind of experience what it was like for us to do one of these dinners in a prison, and to get a taste of the work that we're doing in a prison. But before I do that, I just want everybody to take a second. So take a moment, close your eyes. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel your body. Feel the warmth. Feel the connections with the women at your table tonight and with the room in general. Think of a couple different moments that come to mind from tonight where you just felt really touched by something, really connected to something you haven't touched in yourself in a while, got to come out, you got to digest an experience that you haven't shared much around, something a woman said really inspired you or blew your mind in some way. And just really take that in for a second. And especially just take in the feeling of connection, womanhood, humanity, and dignity that we get to sit in this room together. All right, you can open your eyes. So I want to share about our dinners in prison from that location, because I want you to think about the fact that we want to bring this and have gotten to bring this to women who are incarcerated, who don't get to have experiences like this literally ever. Some of them have been in there for 20 years. They haven't had real food in that entire time. They don't have the opportunity to relax like this, dress up, have this kind of connection. And so it's an incredible experience to get to bring this to them, because we do it exactly the same way that we do it here. You know, we just have to bring plasticware and plastic bottles and things like that. You know, we modify it for however the prison needs us to, but we do it just like this. We bring flowers, we bring sparkling water, we bring we get the nicest plasticware that we can find, you know, with the really nice cups that really look like glass, you know, and we set up the room really beautifully for them so that when they walk in, they feel immediately touched by how much care went into it from our team, and they feel like people, again. Just walking into the room has such a huge impact. And then they get to sit down and have this whole experience of being returned to their womanhood and their dignity and just their own sense of humanity. And, you know, I think all of our speakers tonight in different ways talked about labels, right? And women being seen beyond their labels. And that's what really heals, and that's what creates flourishing, is when women get to connect beyond those labels. And so that's really what Women Over Dinner is up to, is bringing this into those places that genuinely need it the most, and has a resounding effect of healing one of the places that is hardest to look at in society, places where people have been totally discarded. And so I want to show you guys this video of just such a small amount of our experience with this. I wish I could just download all of it to you and into your mind of how exactly it felt, but it is a gorgeous video. I'm going to show you guys so you get a taste.
Why do we cast people out? I think we lost the storyline. We've been sold just this terrible bill of goods, this idea that we have to be happy all the time. We start rejecting parts of ourselves. We begin to think happiness can only be had if we reject more and more, and then we all end up isolated. The most important thing we can do as human beings is begin to connect again with ourselves, with the earth, and with each other. You go into a monastery, and a monastery is a blessed experience. It's an opportunity to get to look inside and discover who you are and how you operate. And really, if you look at prisons, they have the same basic structure, just a different intention. So what if we shifted that intention?
Let me tell you this. This is history? This is history. No, it really is. So we did 100 dinners around the world, and today there's 100 women around the world, everywhere from, the first one this morning was in Ireland, Nigeria, Ghana. Everyone is doing it today to stand in solidarity with this dinner here.
I'm in charge of all the programs for the incarcerated individuals, and we like to have events here. It's important to me as a female to encourage other females and have them see their strength and to empower them. So events like this really mean a lot to me, and I'm so ecstatic that this is the first correctional facility to do an event like this. Part of history.
One of the things that makes this Women's Over Dinner event so meaningful is because, for one, it's being held in a place where voices are not heard, bodies are not seen. It's very emotional for me. We've never had anything like this when I was incarcerated. We didn't have a setting where we can sit down and eat together.
This event just means so much to me because, first and foremost, I just know, being a justice impacted woman, that the women are often forgotten, and during this time of year, it's one of the worst time of year because the holiday season is, the New Year is coming up. So I just thought it was a wonderful opportunity to bring this to my sisters that I left behind the wall to come and participate in something like this.
When I first walked in, I was like, oh my God, I feel like we're home. This is amazing. This is like something I would never dream of happening in a place like this, and I'm thankful that I'm here today. To walk in here today and to know that we're going to be having this conversation, but to know that the womanhood community embraced us, this is beautiful.
We, as free people, understood that we're not free unless all of our sisters are free.
There are many kinds of freedom, small and large, but there exists within each of us a freedom, a wealth that's untouchable, incorruptible, beyond money or status, control, or even one's body. There remains within each of us a territory that cannot be colonized by any external force if we are fierce and vigilant guardians of what we know to be true.
I felt really classy, like I liked the whole table setup. I felt important, like somebody really cared about me, you know?
This was needed and is needed in an environment like this. Thank you so much.
There is a way in this lifetime to see the change that we all know is possible. To take all of the fear and the anger and the polarization and the separation, to take all of that and turn it into a place where we are who we know we should be. Where each of us has our dignity restored, our humanity restored, and we're part of the group of people who are restoring it for others. There's an expression, unconditional freedom is freedom in all conditions. If I had one wish, this would be my wish for everyone. It would be that each person know for themselves the experience of unconditional freedom.
My good friend Hisham decided to show a version of the video tonight that also happens to take you guys a little deeper into the larger mission of the nonprofit Unconditional Freedom that Women Over Dinner is a part of. So you guys got a little extra. You got a little extra. That was beautiful. Thank you. I never get tired of watching that. So this is the work Women Over Dinner is doing. Each time we have done one of these prison dinners, the women have a deep experience of remembering their humanity and dignity. The administrators rave about the lasting impact on the women in the months after and ask us back again. In a world of prisons, people often say not many things really make a deep difference. We're honored that these dinners do, and we want them in every women's prison who will have us. So we have a dinner at Massachusetts Correctional Institution, Framingham in September and also December. And then we also have in October our first dinner in a federal prison at FCI Estill in South Carolina. And so we are actively fundraising for all of these and would love for every person in this room to donate tonight, even if it's $10. Do you have my little book? Can I have it? Thanks. We hold that. So this book, which also happened to be at the end of that video, Jailbirds in Flight, this is a book by our founder, Nicole Dedone. She wrote this while incarcerated in this last year, and it is a book about freedom in all conditions. It's an incredible book, absolutely mind-blowingly amazing. And so we are giving away copies of this book tonight for anybody who donates $100 or more. We will give you a free Jailbirds in Flight, and you too can learn about unconditional freedom. It's called Jailbirds in Flight, everything you've wanted to know about enlightenment in prison, but we're afraid to ask. And so, yes, I would love for everybody in the room to donate tonight, even if it's $10, $20, something like that. And if you want to donate 100 or more, you can raise your hand and we will literally deliver a book to you right now. There's QR codes on your table. There's a survey, which would be amazing if you guys took that too. We use that to help us apply to grants. And so that information is great as well. And then there's another QR code for donating. And so, yes, every bit of it goes towards creating this exact experience, as much as close as we can get it to this exact experience for women in prison, and expanding our efforts in that. Okay, I need that again. All right. Okay, couple last bits of the evening. One thing is, everybody got an envelope when you came in. Some of you may have already opened it, and some of you may not have yet. So your envelope is a hosting kit. So if you would like to host a small version or even a big version of a Women Over Dinner yourself, everything you need to be able to do that is in that hosting kit. And you can always connect with us as well, and invite us, and we'll come and help make it great. And then one of the things I love most about Women Over Dinner is that everything you see tonight exists because a woman encountered this work, felt something stir in them, and then offered what they had. So tonight, our entire meal, including the brownie dessert, was made and prepared with love by Chef Asia. Everybody give it up for Chef Asia. She's at the very front if you want to connect with her on your way out. Thank you. The very room that we are sitting in, this beautiful space that lets us gather and slow down and be together like this, was open to us, donated to us by Organic Erotic Retail Store. If you had Leah or Caroline as your table leads, they are the ladies that run Organic Erotic, so thank you very much, ladies. And then just a general appreciation to all of our volunteers. So all of the yes, give it up for the table leads and the servers. So all of these are women who came to a dinner and were really touched by the mission, and then wanted to volunteer their time, energy, attention, and love. And you too can become like them if you want. I will be at the next steps table on the way out if you want to chat with me about volunteering or anything else. And then, I think that might be it. Yeah, that's it. That's a Women Over Dinner. Thank you so much, ladies. We'll have about 20, 30 minutes or so of everybody connecting in the space. Like I said, I'll be at the next steps table on the way out if you want to connect. And thank you all for coming.
Thank you everyone so much for joining us over Zoom and for joining us online on social media. It was incredible to see all your beautiful faces, to read your reflections, your noticings, and just to feel the network that connects us all, the invisible network that we're all connected by, of women's power. So thank you for donating, Dana. That's incredible. Thank you for anyone and everyone who donated tonight. And if you would like a hosting kit sent to you, just post your email. You can send it to me directly, DM me, or put it in the comments, and I'll make sure that you get a hosting kit. And so you can host your own dinner. And if you do host a dinner, please let us know, let me know. You can always email us at womenoverdinner.org and let us know, because we keep track of who hosts dinners, where, how many ladies you had, so we can keep it in our total, because we are over 6,000 women now at this time that have been to a dinner. And we've had almost 600 dinners globally in the past 3 years. So we would just love to add you to the list of global dinners and put you on the map. So again, thank you so much for joining. It was such a pleasure, such a delight. I hope that you host your own dinners. I hope that you join us at a dinner at a correctional facility. If you'd like to join, again, please reach out if you want to volunteer or if you want to be involved in any way. I would love to talk to you and chat with you. You can reach us on Instagram at Women Over Dinner, and then again at our website, womenoverdinner.org. So hope to see you all at the next dinner. And be well. Love you all so much.